Here we've got Bob versus Rebecca. We actually don't have footage of this game, so we don't have all that much to say about it. The results are definitely noteworthy, though. Our reigning world champion, Bob the Beast, getting knocked out of this tournament in round one.
Yeah. How did that happen? Do we know?
From what we know, it happened in just 2 games, both of which were actually relatively decisive. Rebecca picking up a lot of early momentum, playing the fast game, like so many of our high-level players do here, and just really overwhelming Bob before he could get too much going. And I know he's very, very, upset about getting knocked out of this tournament and losing his title.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean, you always have a lot to prove when you're on top. And, Muhammad was on top 2 years. Rachel was on top for 1 year. And now Bob was the reigning champ. And I thought he was going to come in and he was going to, make it very far. And, I'm sure he did well. I'm sure that he made the most of the 2 games he played. But sometimes you do all you can and it doesn't happen for you.
Yeah, and if you're Rebecca right now, you're feeling really good going into round 2. You just took out the reigning world champion. You are feeling confident. So
people are watching you.
Yeah, so she's one to watch. She'll be playing against the winner of this last matchup here, Karl versus Nadia. This was a very exciting matchup to watch.
Yeah, this has been. It's funny that this is the last one we're talking about because this was the one I was most excited to talk about. So I'm glad we made it here. I hope you're all still with us. Buckle in, strap in, buckle up.
Yeah. This game 1 starts out really quickly. We see a sleeping potion over on Nadia's side of the field. She's playing as the black deck. We see 2 sleeping potions on Karl's side of the field for the yellow deck. Both players trying to play the fast game here. Karl was hoping to get a quick collection off, but even in hasty mode, the Witch is really going to get you because the Witch can take 2 cards at once out of your Emberscape. Yeah. So, Karl trying to go for a fast collection, Nadia not letting that happen.
Yeah, and Nadia listed her name as the Nefarious, but she also goes by Sleepy Nadia, which you'll see over there. And I wasn't sure what we were going to see. I wasn't sure if we were going to see Sleepy Nadia or Nefarious Nadia. And oh boy.
Well, it's interesting because, with that Witch, not only does she get a card there in her Emberscape, she's going to get a sleeping potion in her hand. And that's going to come in really handy later. We've seen that card get stolen by the Witch a lot in the course of this round 1, and we can see why. These players know when to use Sleeping Potion. Mm-hmm. And we can see this next turn here. Nadia's going to throw that Sleeping Potion down. She is going to secure her collection here and take an early lead in game 1.
And it sucks when you know it's coming and you know you can't do anything about it. Because the most everything in Ambyria has a rebuttal, and there are very, very few rebuttals to this move.
Yeah, you need a face down card, and anything other than that is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
So Nadia getting the first collection in game 1 here.
And of note, Karl is a great player. He comes with us to conventions. Sure. We play with him. He teaches people how to play. He has his own play group where he plays. And so this is a big test of Nadia's skills here.
Yeah, and despite the name Sleepy Nadia, definitely not a competitor to sleep on. Showing early on there that she can hang with the best of these and pull out some great moves. We see Karl here try to get back here. He fills up his Emberscape, but he is forced to play a mode card here. Doesn't have too many options, so he goes for that Elf Foreman. But based on drawing that King of Storms, maybe a choice he ultimately regrets, even though it seems like the right move.
Well, it's his only move.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could have played one of those Martyrs as a mode card, but
right.
But you never would, though. You assume you're not going to draw King of Storms, and then you draw King of Storms. Yeah. So it's his only legal move. He has to play it. he is forced to reset his own Emberscape, which, hard to come back from.
Yeah,
Karl,
and
a great player though.
I was reffing this match, so I didn't see the 3 things he had in his hand, but I knew he's not a fan of King of Storms. So I was surprised when he played the King of Storms. Very surprised. And now it all comes to light.
And now we know why.
So yeah, Josh, I see what you're saying. If he had saved that 1 card, that would have been the way to go. And I think it's tough. You don't want to play those martyrs as a mode card. You want to save them for interrupts, and totally see where he was coming from with that move. But the safe move would have been to use the martyr as his mode.
Yeah, but I probably would have made the same move Karl did in his shoes. That was just a tough draw for him.
Yeah, and at least he collects 12 points,
Yeah. Now what we're going to see, we can see a couple poltergeists out there. We talked about mode pressure before, so both players doing this. Nadia's got that Falvier Venom out there. That's really going to make things tough for Karl, especially playing as the yellow deck, because he wants to use a lot of key actions against her.
A lot of key actions.
We see that it doesn't deter him. He plays that Witch. That's going to do 2 key actions against Nadia, and he's only got 3 cards in his hand, one of which is his hero. So this is a big risk for him. He has a big chance of discarding his hero as a result of this play.
Yeah, I think though what's going through his head is that he'd rather get the Emberscape collected than play his hero at this point. I slightly disagree, because he could have gained positional advantage by playing Seraphine and destroying that Falvier. On subsequent turns, he could have played the Witch and gotten stuff for free.
I don't know. I mean,
if he still had it.
Yeah, I mean, I think though it shows a great awareness that your hero card is just a card, and it is worth the risk sometimes to be able to take cards out of your opponent's Emberscape, fill up your own. So I think he makes a good call here. He knows it's risky, and I think even if he had discarded Seraphine, it still would have been his best move.
Yeah, and he's now for sure in attack mode. Almost for sure going to collect, unless one of Nadia's 2 cards is an attack, a non-attack martyr. And amazingly, after 2 random discards, Karl does not discard his hero. Yeah, so after all that discussion, he gets to keep her.
Yeah, and that was key for him getting back into this game. The rest of the game progressed really, really quickly. We can see Karl, not a lot of options in his hand. He decides, you know what, this is not going to look good for me if the game keeps going, so I'm going to play my Mysterious Elixir and end the game. Unfortunately, taking the play out of Andrew, and who else got that happen to them? I think it was Ransom. He gets a Witch out of his Arcane cards and has to give something to Nadia. In those other games, I don't think it made too much of an impact. Here it did, as Nadia won by 1 point.
Yeah, this was our closest game of round 1.
You can't really get any closer.
Yeah, and if it had been, if the other card in his hand had been almost any other card, he had played a lot of his cards that were worth more than 10 points. Mostly all the cards that were left were worth less than 10 points. If it had been worth any less than 10 points, it would have been a tie, or Karl would have won. And that's how close Ambyria can be at the end of the day.
And for those of you that don't know, because this so rarely comes up, if you do get a tie score, the tiebreaker goes to whoever has the greater number of cards in their collection pile. Very rarely have we seen that happen, though.
And if that is the same, then you just play again.
So going into game 2, Karl needs a win here to stay in the tournament. Nadia, however, wants to keep her momentum going. And we're going to see that she's going to employ the same tactic as so many other players. She's going to go for the speedy mode, playing that Mysterious Elixir early on, gets a Dragon's Wager, which is great. That's going to add another card into her Emberscape. So she's going to be getting a lot of momentum going on early on in this play.
Yeah, that is like, I don't want to say it's such a lucky move, but like, when that's such a good position to be in, and you didn't have to do a lot to get there.
Yeah, it's a great play, and it works out really well for her. She does end up getting the first collection of the game here, and starts things going on really strong for her early on. Karl does get some momentum going though. You can see he's playing as the white deck here. Nadia's as the yellow deck. Karl also fills up his Emberscape, gets some momentum going. You can see he got Maleviny out in his Emberscape. He's trying to collect his hero. Unfortunately, Nadia puts that Martyr over top of him, preventing him from getting that attack mode collection.
Yeah, and I think that this is just a testament to what a great player Karl is. But it just wasn't good enough, with the moves Nadia was pulling, taking him out of attack mode, and then being able to play a witch, even though you'll see that she had to play to the discard pile because of Karl's Spirit of the Forest. Still amazing.
Yeah, and she knows that it's worth it because she's getting Karl's hero, 20 points, and Spirit of the Forest, 15 points. So in one move, she's taken 35 points away from Karl. That's worth a discarded witch.
And that's more than the point spread in the last game.
Yes, it's 35 times more. And, we've talked about how demoralizing it can be to lose your hero. So although Karl does still get off this collection in hasty mode, it's 35 points less than he wanted.
And 35 points could be worth 2 or 3 collections. Like, his collection was more than halved.
Yeah, but you know what? Karl is a great player. He does not let that phase him. He keeps up his momentum. He actually uses a Thief in the Night, and he gets Maleviny back in his hand. You'll see here.
So rare.
Yeah. So he knew he could get that hero back. He got it back, and he gets that in his Emberscape, and he does get that collection. So he did a great job of keeping in that game. You'll notice by this point, though, Nadia down to just 1 arcane card. So Karl does need to get a few more collections here if he wants to keep up with Nadia's pace.
Yeah. But we got to see what his arcane card is.
Yeah, his arcane card is the Devious Serpent. So that's actually
great arcane card.
Yeah, it's a great arcane card. It lets you pick up some momentum on your next turn. And he does have a really great next turn utilizing this Devious Serpent. So he does a couple of things here. He's going to try and take a card from Nadia, so he puts her in hasty mode with his Martyr. He then uses the Seductress to capture that card. And then he's going to use his Fountain Well and put that Martyr back in his Emberscape. So in one turn, 4 cards in his Emberscape. That's a great comeback.
Yeah, the Deceptor Trader, Devious Serpent is slightly underrated. You can fill up your Emberscape in a single turn if you can play 2 cards into your Emberscape in one turn. It is rare, but you can do it, and 4 is the next best thing. And Karl pulled that off there, and he's still dangerous.
Yeah, and that really was a great turn. It ends up not being quite enough, though. By the end of the game, Nadia does slightly edge out and win 139 to 101 in game 2, which knocks Karl out. Karl, great player, so he must be a little bit disappointed to get knocked out in round 1, but he played against Nadia, who proved to be a really great player herself, so he can't get too upset about that.
Yeah, and we had a little wrap up after the game, players saying great game, good job, that kind of thing. And Nadia mentioned she's been practicing. She's been practicing with her game group. She's been practicing with her coworkers. So this is something that she trained for. She didn't come in cold. This wasn't her first time playing since PAX. She's been playing. She's been getting ready. And it's great to see. It's great to see the practice paying off. And she's dangerous. She showed it right here in round 1.
And that means she'll be playing against Rebecca in round 2. They've never played each other. I'm excited to see how they do against each other, and I'm excited to see how their play styles interact and evolve over time as they play.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be one to watch for sure. I mean, we've got 4 matchups in the next round, and they're all on the top of my list for different reasons. But Rebecca knocked out the former world champ. Nadia knocked out Karl, an excellent player, and I'm looking out for that one. I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah. So here is our bracket for round 2. We'll be contacting you guys very shortly after dropping this video. once we have our round 2 matches scheduled, we will be sure to post about them so you guys know when to watch. We will stream on Twitch. We will get commentary. Very excited to see how round 2 of this tournament goes.
Josh, what are you looking forward to in round 2? What's your one to watch?
Well, we still have 2 former champions left, each in their own matchups. So I'll be definitely watching to see if they can survive into the next round. But any of these competitors could advance. So all 4 of these games I expect to be very, very exciting.
Yeah, I think that we really got a show on our hands here, and you don't want to stop watching now just because your favorite player may have gotten knocked out. I'd keep following along, keep up with it, and you know, all of these matchups are right there. And you know, we highlighted Nadia versus Rebecca. We highlighted the 2 champs. Let's not forget Katie and Ransom.
Yeah, all these are going to be exciting.
Yeah.
So that'll end round 1 of our tournament. Very exciting to progress. As we send off this video, we're going to take a moment to remember the fallen heroes who have left the Ambyria tournament. We will catch you next time.